Welcome back. Today, we're diving into the world of wheat pennies. But here's the surprise. Some of these old pennies have sold for tens of thousands, even over $100,000. Rare dates, mint mark errors, and incredibly low mintages have made certain wheat pennies true treasures. The 1943 D steel Lincoln penny might just be one of the most underrated treasures hiding in plain sight. It looks simple, it's small, it feels light in your hand. But this one-year-only wartime issue, especially with the D mint mark from Denver, and in better-than-average circulated condition, has become a collector's magnet. And believe it or not, if yours has even one rare variation or error, you could be staring at a coin worth up to $85,000 or more. Yes, $85,000. For a penny. Let's set the stage. The year is 1943. World War II is raging. Copper is desperately needed for ammunition and military equipment. So, for the first and only time, the U.S. Mint changes the makeup of the Lincoln cent. Instead of copper, they strike the coins in zinc-coated steel. It was practical, it was patriotic, and it created one of the most instantly recognizable coins in U.S. history. They're the only steel pennies ever mass-produced by the U.S. Mint, and that alone has collectors buzzing. Now, this particular coin was minted in Denver, as indicated by the small d beneath the date on the obverse. That tiny letter might not look like much, but it matters, because while millions were made, relatively few survived in decent condition. And here's where things get interesting. The Denver Mint is known for producing some of the most dramatic mint errors in 1943. We're talking about double dies, repunched mint marks, off-center strikes, and more. Your coin's condition is described as normal, not bad, which is actually a great sign. In circulated condition but without heavy rust or deep damage, this steel penny still holds strong appeal, especially if there's an error hiding on it. Some lightly circulated 1943 D steel cents with minting mistakes have sold for between $30,000 and $85,000, depending on how dramatic the error is and whether it's been verified by grading services like PCGS or NGC. Just take a look at the details. On the obverse side, we have the timeless profile of Abraham Lincoln, facing right, the word liberty to his left, and the date 1943, with that powerful little D mint mark beneath it. On the reverse, the classic wheat ears surround the bold 1 cent inscription and the proud United States of America. The surface may show some natural wear, light graying from oxidation, maybe even a touch of shine if it's been preserved. But that's what makes this coin so intriguing. It's real, it's aged with history, and it might still be packing value way beyond your expectations. And let's not forget the jaw-dropping fact that a few 1943 D pennies were somehow struck on copper planchets by accident. Yes, by mistake. Just a few made it out of the mint before the steel switch was finalized. If your 1943 D penny turns out to be one of those legendary copper strike errors, the value jumps into the millions, with one selling for over $1.7 million at auction. That's no exaggeration. 1943, D steel wheat penny. Just hearing that name might bring back memories, maybe from your childhood or from finding one of these strange, silver-colored pennies in your pocket long ago. But here's the twist. What looks like a regular old penny from the war years could actually be hiding one of the most electrifying surprises in U.S. coin history. And this specific coin, struck at the Denver Mint, is one of the most mysterious and underrated coins ever made. Now picture this, a penny that isn't copper. That's right. During World War II, copper was in short supply. The U.S. Mint needed it for ammunition and military supplies. So in 1943, they made a daring change and produced pennies using zinc-coated steel instead. It was the first and only time the Lincoln cent went silver. Not in precious metal, but in appearance. And while millions of these steel cents were made, many didn't survive the test of time. They rusted. They were tossed out. They were even mistaken for dimes and pulled from circulation. This 1943 D steel wheat penny might look plain. It might even show wear, nicks, or patches of rust. But that Denver D mint mark? That's the detail that drives collectors wild. Why? Because among the steel pennies of that year, the Denver Mint is known to have produced some of the most desirable error varieties. Imagine this, a 1943 D penny with a repunched mint mark where the D was stamped twice and slightly off-center. One of those recently sold for over $60,000 at auction. That's right, a penny, worn and circulated, fetching a luxury car price tag. But wait, it gets better. A small handful of 1943 D steel pennies were found to be double-die obverses. That means parts of the text, like "In God We Trust" or "Liberty," appear doubled. And those coins? They don't just raise eyebrows, they raise paddles at auction houses. One of those incredibly rare 1943 D double dies fetched $125,000. And let's not forget the ultimate dream. A 1943 D steel penny struck on a bronze plancher by mistake. Only a few exist, but if you have one, we're talking life-changing money. One verified example brought in a staggering $840,000. Even without any dramatic mint errors, a regular 1943 D steel penny in great condition can still be worth thousands. In circulated but decent shape, collectors are known to pay $5,000 to $12,000, especially if the surfaces are clean and the details are strong. This isn't just about metal, it's about history, rarity, and nostalgia. These coins tell a story of a nation at war, of rationing and resilience. Every steel penny that survived is a relic of that fight. Now ask yourself, do you have one like this sitting in a jar, in an old coin album, or tucked away in a drawer? Pull it out. Look closely. That tiny D mint mark just under the date could be the clue that takes your penny from pocket change to powerhouse. Because with the right details, your simple-looking 1943 D wheat penny could bring in more money than you ever dreamed possible. The 1943 steel wheat penny without a mint mark might seem like just another old coin, but don't let its gray, modest look fool you. This little piece of metal holds a thunderous secret, because under the right conditions, it can be worth up to $110,000 or more to the right collector. And the shock doesn't stop there. If this penny contains one of the rare and accidental mint errors, you're talking about a once-in-a-lifetime jackpot that could shake up your entire financial future. Let's break it down. This coin was struck during the height of World War II, a time when the U.S. Mint made a radical change. In 1943, copper was desperately needed for ammunition and wartime supplies, so the Mint temporarily stopped using copper for pennies and switched to zinc-coated steel. It was the only time in U.S. history that a mass-issued penny wasn't made from a copper-based metal. These 1943 steel cents became instantly iconic, and over 1 billion were minted that year. Now, here's where the mystery begins. The coin in question has no mint mark, which means it was produced at the Philadelphia Mint. The Philly Mint made the most 1943 steel pennies, over 684 million. That might sound like a huge number, but the real value comes from condition, preservation, and most of all, rare errors. Your coin is a 1943 steel wheat penny, circulated without a mint mark. And if it happens to carry a double die obverse, a dramatic die crack, a clipped plancher, or any off-metal strike error, the value can leap straight into 5 or even 6-figure territory. These aren't just minor variations. They're collector gold mines. A regular circulated one might fetch $10 to $50. But one in uncirculated condition, with even minor errors, can be worth $5,000 to $30,000. And here's the kicker. A 1943 steel penny without a mint mark, but struck on a bronze, copper, plancher by mistake, has been auctioned for over $100,000, with one topping $1.75 million in pristine grade. Visually, the steel penny is like nothing else. Instead of the warm brown of traditional pennies, it has a silver-gray tone that stands out immediately. On the obverse, Abraham Lincoln's profile is sharp and centered, flanked by "In God We Trust" above, "Liberty" to the left, and 1943 on the right. The reverse features the iconic wheat stalks, wrapping around the words 1 cent and United States of America, with the proud "E pluribus unum" at the top. Even if your coin is in circulated condition, if it has held up well and shows any unusual features, get it checked. This is the kind of coin that looks humble but could shake the room with its value. It's not just metal. It's a time capsule from the most defining era of the 20th century. Collectors today, especially older Americans who lived through the war years or grew up in its shadow, are more interested than ever. Nostalgia, rarity, and increasing demand have pushed the steel wheat penny into the spotlight. And if yours carries any error, no matter how small, it could be the difference between pocket change and a life-changing windfall. So keep your eyes on this piece of history. It may not have a mint mark, but its impact, absolutely priceless. And hold tight, because the next coin coming up in this series might just outshine them all.